Chapter 6 Photo Opportunity Shoot E-37 Haven. The unlikely allies took the Goblin shuttle up E-37. I was none too pleased. First of all, she was being ordered to work with public enemy number 1, Artemis Fowl. And secondly, the Goblin shuttle was being held together by spit and prayers. Holly hooked a comrig over one pointing ear. "Hey, Foley, you there?" "Right here, Captain." "Remind me again why I'm flying this old slammer?" LP recon pilots refer to suspect shuttles as slammers because of their alarming tendency to slam and to shoot walls. "The reason you're flying that old slammer, Captain, is that the Goblins built the shuttle inside the port. And all three old access ramps were removed years ago. It would take days to get a new rig in there. So I'm afraid we're stuck with a Goblin ship." Holly strapped herself to the pilot's wraparound seat. The thrust toggles almost seemed to jump into her hands. For a split second, Captain Shore's natural good humor returned. She was an ex-pilot, top of her class in the academy. On her final assessment, Wing Commander Finnea had written, "Cadet Shore could fly a shuttle pod through the gap in your teeth." It was a compliment with a sting in the tail. On her first tryout in the pod, Holly had lost control, cross-landing the craft 6 feet from Finnea's nose. So for 5 seconds, Holly was happy. Then she remembered who her passengers were. "I wonder, could you tell me," said Artemis, settling into the co-pilot's chair, "how close the Russian terminal is to Murmansk?" "The village behind the yellow line," cried Holly, ignoring the inquiry. Artemis pressed on. "This is disappointing to me. I am trying to plan a rescue." Holly grinned tightly. "There's so much irony here. I could write a poem. The kidnapper looking for help with a kidnapping." Artemis rubbed his temples. "Holly, I am a criminal. It's what I do best. When I abducted you, I was taken only at the ransom. You were never supposed to be in any danger." "Oh, really?" said Holly. "Apart from biobombs and trolls." "True," admitted Artemis. "Sometimes plans don't translate smoothly from paper to real life." He paused to clean some non-existent dirt from his manicure nails. "I have matured, Captain. This is my father. I need all the information I can gather before facing the mafia." Holly relented. It wasn't easy growing up without a father. She knew. Her own father passed away when she was barely 60. More than 20 years ago now. "Okay, my boy, listen up. I'm only saying this once." Artemis sat up. Bullet's head appeared in the cockpit. He could smell a warp story. "Over the past 2 centuries, with the advances in human technology, the LP have been forced to shut down over 60 terminals. We put out another rush in the 60s. The entire Korean Peninsula is a nuclear disaster. The PU have no tolerance for radiation. We never built up a resistance. In truth, there wasn't much to close down. Just a grade 3 terminal and a couple of cloaking protractors. The people aren't very fond of the Arctic. A bit frosty. Everybody was glad to be leaving. So to answer your question, there's one unmanned terminal, with little or no above-ground facilities, located about 20 clicks north of Murmansk. Foley's voice blurted from the intercom, interrupting what was dangerously close to a civil conversation. "Okay, Captain, you've got a clear run to the subway. There's still a bit of waffle fun left player, so go east in the thrusters." Holly pulled down her mouth mic. "Roger that, Foley. Have the rad suits ready when I get back. We're on a tight schedule." Foley chuckled. "Take it easy on the thrusters, Holly. Technically, this is Artemis' first time he shoots, seeing as he and Butler were mesmerizing on the way down. You wouldn't want him getting a fright." Holly gunned the throttle quite a bit more than was absolutely necessary. "No," she growled. "We wouldn't want him getting a fright." Artemis decided dropping his restraining harness. A good idea, as it turned out. Captain Shore gunned the makeshift shuttle down the magnetized approach rail. The fins shook, sending twin webs of spark cascading past the portholes. Holly adjusted the internal gyroscopes, otherwise there'd be webbing vomiting all over the passenger area. Holly's thumbs hovered over the turbo buttons. "Okay, well, let's see what this bucket can do." "Don't go try for any records, Holly," said Foley over the speakers. "This ship is not built for speed. I've seen more aerodynamic dwarfs." Holly grunted. After all, what was the point in flying slowly? None whatsoever. And if you happen to terrify a few more men along the way, well, that was just an added bonus. The service tunnel opened onto the main chute. Artemis gasped. It was an awe-inspiring sight. You could drop Mount Everest down the chute, and it wouldn't even hit the sides. A deep red glow pulsed from the Earth's core like the fires of hell. and the constant crack of contracting rocks smashed a hole like physical blows. Holly fired up all 4 flight engines, toppling the shuttle into the abyss. Her worries evaporated like the eddies of mist swirling around the cockpit. It was a flyboy thing. The lower you went without pulling out the dive, the tougher you were. Even the fiery demise of a truthful officer bumped upwards couldn't stop the LP pilots from core diving. Holly had the current record 500 years before to bend the flaps. That had cost her 2 weeks suspension plus a hefty fine. Not today, though. No ruggeds in a slammer. With the G-force rippling the skin on her cheeks, Holly dragged the joysticks back, pulling the nose out of vertical. It gave her no small satisfaction to hear both humans sigh with relief. Okay, Foley, we're on the up and up. What's the situation above ground? You could hear Foley tapping a keyboard. Sorry, Holly. I can't get a lock on any of our surface equipment. Too much radiation from the last flare. You're on your own. Holly eyed the 2 pale humans in the cockpit. On my own, she thought. I wish. Paris. So, if Artemis doesn't have a Gucci in his quest to arm the Bokel, who was? Some tyrannical dictator? Perhaps a disgruntled general with access to an unlimited supply of power cells? Oh no, not exactly. Luke Carrier was the human responsible for selling batteries to the Bokel. Not that you know it to look at him. In fact, he didn't even know it himself. Luke was a small-time French private eye who was well known for his inefficiency. In PR circles, it was said that Luke couldn't press a GoPro in a barrel of mozzarella. Gucci had decided to use Luke for 3 reasons. 1. Floyd's father showed the Carrier had a reputation as a wheeler dealer. In spite of his ineptness as an investigator, Luke had a knack for laying his hand on whatever it was the client wanted to buy. 2. The man was greedy and had never been able to resist the lure of easy money. And 3. Luke was stupid. And as every little fairy knows, weak minds are easier to mesmerize. The fact that he had located Carrier and Floyd's database was near enough to make Gucci smile. Of course, Breyer would have preferred not to have any human link in the chain, but a chain comprised completely of goblin links is one dumb chain. Establishing contact with any moment was not something Gucci took lightly. Deranged as he was, Breyer was aware that what would happen to humans got wind of a new market underground. They would swarm to the Earth's core like a hive of red-bagged flesh-eating ants. Gucci was not ready to meet the humans head-on. Not yet. Not until he had the might of the LP behind him. So instead, Gucci had sent Luke Carrier a little package. First class shielded goblin mail. Luke Carrier had showed into his apartment one July evening to find a small parcel lying on his desk. The package was nothing more than a FedEx delivery, or something that looked very much like a FedEx delivery. Luke slit the tape. Inside the box, cushioned on a nuzzle of 100-euro bills, was a small flat device of some kind, like a party CD player, but made from a strange black metal that seemed to absorb light. Luke would have shouted to his receptionist and instructed his security to hold all calls. If he had a secretary, instead the PI began stuffing cash down his grease-stained shirt and saw the notes would disappear. Suddenly the device popped open, clam-like, revealing a microscreen and speakers. A shabby face appeared on the display. Though Luke could see nothing but a pair of red-rimmed eyes, that was enough to set goosebumps popping across his back. Funny though, because when the face began to speak, Luke's words slid away like an old snake skin. How could he have been worried? This voice was obviously a friend. What a lovely voice, like a choir of angels, all on its own. Luke Carrel? Luke nearly cried. Poetry. Oui, c'est muy. But sure, do you see the money, Luke? It's all yours. 100 miles underground, Gucci almost smiled. This was even unexpected. He had been worried that the drill of power left in his brain wouldn't be sufficient to mesmerize a human. But this particular mud seemed to have the power of a hungry hawk faced with a trough of turnips. Look how 2 was cast in his fist. This money? It's mine? What do I have to do? Nothing. The money is yours. Do whatever you want. Now Luke Carrier knew that there was no such thing as free cash. But that voice was truth in a microspeaker. But there's more. A lot more. Luke stopped what he was doing, which was kissing a 100-euro bill. Murder? How much murder? The eyes seemed to go crimson. As much as you want, Luke. But to get it, I need you to do me a favor. Luke was hooked. Sure. What kind of favor? The voice emanating from the speaker was as clear as spring water. It's simple, not even illegal. I need batteries, Luke. Thousands of batteries. Maybe millions. Do you think you can get them for me? Luke thought about it for about 2 seconds. The notes were tickling his chin. As a matter of fact, he had a contact in the river who regularly ships boatloads of hardware to the Middle East, including batteries. Luke was scared that some of those shipments could be diverted. Batteries. Please admit, I could do that. And so it went on for several months. Luke Carey hit his contact for every battery he could lay his hands on. It was a sweet deal. Luke would crate the sales up in his apartment, and in the Monday it would be gone. In the place would sit a fresh pile of bills. Of course, the euros were fake, worn off on an old cowboy printer, but Luke couldn't tell the difference. Nobody else at the treasury could. Occasionally, the voice on the screen would make a special request. Some farces, for example. But hey, Luke was a player now. Nothing was more than a phone call away. In 6 months, Luke Carey went from a one-room apartment to a fancy loft in Saint Germain. So naturally, the Sorority and Interpols were building separate cases against him. But Luke wanted to know that. All he knew was that for the first time in his corrupt life, he was riding the gravy train. One morning there was another puzzle on his new marble top desk. Bigger this time. Bulkier. But Luke wasn't worried. It was probably more money. Luke tapped the top to fill an aluminum case and a second communicator. The eyes were waiting for him. Would you, Luke? Ça va? Bien, replied Luke, mesmerized from the first syllable. I have a special assignment for you today. Do this right, and you will never have to worry about money again. Your tool is in the case. What is it? Asked the PI nervously. The instrument looked like a weapon, and even though Luke was mesmerized, Kushner did not have enough magic to completely bury the partition's nature. The PI might have been devious, but he was no killer. It's a special camera, Luke. That's all. You pull that thing that looks like a trigger, it takes a picture, said Kuchin. Ooh, said Luke Carrier, clearly. Some friends of mine are coming to visit you, and I want you to take that picture. It's just a game we play. How will I know your friends? Asked Luke. A lot of people visit me. They will ask about the batteries. They ask about the batteries, then you take the picture. Sure. Great. And it was great, because the voice would never make him do anything wrong. The voice was his friend. He sat on his shuttleport. Holly still stumbled through the shoe's final section. A proximity sensor in the shuttle nose set up the landing lights. Muttered Holly. Artemis squinted through the quartz windshield. A problem? No. It's just that those lights shouldn't be working. There has been a power source in the terminal since the last century. Our couple friends, no doubt. Holly frowned. Doubtful. Takes half a dozen goblins to turn on the glow cube. Wiring a shuttleport takes real know-how. Elfin know-how. The plot thickens, said Artemis. Yet, if he'd had a beard, he would have stroked it. I smell a traitor. Now who would have access to all this technology, and a motive for sending it? Holly pointed the shuttle's cone towards the landing nodes. We'll find out soon enough. You just give me a live traitor, and my master will soon have him spilling his guts. The shuttle docked with a pneumatic hiss as the base rubber collar formed an airtight seal against the outer hull. Bullet was out of his chair before the seatbelt light winked off, ready for action. Just don't kill anyone, warned Holly. That's not how the LP like to operate. Anyway, dead men don't rat on their partners. She brought up a schematic on the wall screen. It depicted Paris' old city. Okay, she said, pointing to a bridge across the Seine. We're here. Out on this bridge, 200 feet from Notre Dame. Dang. That's the cathedral, not the football team. The dock is disguised as a bridge support. Stand in the doorway until I give you a green light. We have to be careful here. The last thing we need is some Parisian seeing you emerge from a brick wall. You're not governing us? Asked Artemis. Orders, said Holly, scowling. Apparently this could be a trap. Who knows what Howard's pointed at the terminal door? Lucky for you, you're expendable. I was chosen, Holly. You fit right in. Lucky us. What lease do we have? Holly set a desk into the console. Foley stuck his written major on the goblin prisoner. Apparently he had seen his human. The captain brought up a bookshot on the screen. Foley got a match on his Interpol files. Luke Carré, this barred attorney, does a bit of PI work. He printed up a card. Here's his address. He just moved to a swanky new apartment. It could be nothing, but at least we have somewhere to start. I need you to immobilize him and show him this. Holly handed the bodyguard who looked like a diver's watch. What is it? Asked the man Severed. Just a calm screen. You just put it in front of Carrera's face and I can mesmerize the truth out of him from down here. He also could have one of his doodads. A personal shield. A safety net. A prototype you'd be delighted to know. You can have the honor of testing it. Touch the screen and the microreactor generates a 6-foot diameter sphere of tri-phase light. No good for solids, but laser bursts or concussion shocks are okay. Said Bud doubtfully. We don't get a lot of laser bursts off above ground. Hey, don't use it. Do I care? Bud studied the tiny instrument. 6-foot radius? What about the bits that are sticking out? I dumped the man's plate in his stomach. My advice to you, big man, is to curl up in a ball. I'll try to remember that, said Bud, like cinching the strap on his wrist. You do try not to kill each other while I'm gone. Artemis was surprised. It didn't happen very often. Why, you're gone? Surely you don't expect me to stay behind? Bud tapped his forehead. Don't worry, you'll see everything on the iris cam. Artemis fumed for several moments, before settling into a passenger chair. I know. I would only slow you down, and that in turn would slow down the search for my father. Of course, if you insist. No, this is no time for childishness. Bella smiled gently. Childishness was one thing much I was hardly like to be accused of. How long do I have? I shrugged. As long as it takes. Obviously, the sooner the better. For everybody's sake. She glanced at Artemis. Especially his father's. In spite of everything, Butler felt good. This was life at its most basic. The hunt. Not exactly the Stone Age, but the principle was the same. The survival of the fittest. And there was no doubt about his mind that he was the fittest. Butler followed Holly's directions to a service ladder, scaling quickly to the doorway above. He waited beside the metal door, until the light above changed from red to green, and the camouflage entrance slid noiselessly back. The bodyguard emerged cautiously. Why it was lucky that bridge was deserted. Good Highcup explained himself away as a homeless person, just as he was in a dark designer suit. Butler felt a breeze play across the shaven dome of his crown. The morning air felt good, even after a few hours on the ground. You can only imagine how fairies must feel, forced out of their native environment by humans. From what Butler had seen, if the people ever decided to reclaim what was theirs, the battle wouldn't last long. But luckily for mankind, fairies were a peace-loving people, and not prepared to go to war over a real estate. The coast was clear. Butler stepped casually at the Riverside Hall walkway, proceeding south toward the St. Germain district. A riverboat fled past on his right, drawing 100 tourists around the city. Butler automatically covered his face with the massive hand. Just in case some of those tourists had pointed in this direction. The bodyguard mounted a set of stone steps to the road above. Behind him, the jagged spire of Notre Dame rose into the sky, and to his left, the Eiffel Tower's famous profile punctured the clouds. Butler strode confidently across the main road, nodding at several French ladies who stopped to stare. He was familiar with this area of Paris, having spent a month recuperating here after a particularly dangerous descent for the French Secret Service. Butler strode along Rue Jacob. Even at this hour, cars and lorries jumped the narrow street. Drivers leaned on their horns, hanging from car windows. Gallic timbers running wild. Mopeds dodged between bumpers, and a large number of extraordinary pretty girls strode past. Butler smiled. Paris. He had forgotten. Carrera's apartment was on Rue Bonaparte, opposite the church. Apartments in Saint Germain cost more per month than most Parisians made in a year. Butler ordered coffee and a croissant at the Café Bonaparte, settling himself at an outside table, one with the perfect view of Monsieur Carrera's window. He didn't have long to wait. In less than an hour, the chunky Parisian appeared on his balcony, leaning on the ornate railing for several minutes. He very obligingly presented a front and side views of himself. His voice sounded in Butler's ear. That's our boy. Is he alone? I can't tell, muttered the bodyguard into his hand. The flushed tall mic glued to his door would pick up any vibration translated from Holly. Just a sec. Butler heard a keyboard being tapped, and suddenly the eyes came in and his eyes sparked. The vision one eye jumped into a completely different spectrum. Heat sensitive, line in front of him. Hot equals red. Cold equals blue. That affects from system, blitz should penetrate an outer wall. Butler cast a fresh eye over the apartment. There were 3 red objects in the room. One was Carrera's heart, which posed crimson in the center of his pink body. The second appeared to be a hot plate, possibly a coffee pot. And the third was a TV. Okay. All clear, I'm going in. Affirmative. Watch your step. This is a bit too convenient. Agreed. Butler crossed the cobble street to the 4-story apartment building. There was an intercom security system, but this structure was 19th century. A slight shoulder at the right point popped the bolt right out of his housing. I'm in. There was a noise on the stairs above. Someone coming this way. Butler wasn't unduly concerned. Nevertheless, he slid a palm inside his jacket, fingers resting on his handgun screw. It was unlikely he would need it. Even the most boisterous young bucks generally gave Butler a wide berth. Something to do with his merciless eyes. Being almost 7 feet tall didn't hurt either. A group of teenagers ran over the corner. Excusez-moi, said Butler, gallantly stepping aside. The girls giggled. The boys glared. One, a unibrowed rugby type, even thought about passing comments. Then Butler winked at him. It was a peculiar wink, somehow simultaneously cheerful and terrifying. No comments were passed. Butler ascended to the 4th floor without incident. Carrera's apartment was on the gable end. 2 walls of windows. Very expensive. The bodyguard was considering his break-in and entry options when he noticed the door was open. Open doors generally meant 1 of 2 things. 1, nobody was left alive to close it. Or 2, he was expected. Neither of these options appeared to him particularly. Butler entered cautiously. The apartment walls were lined with open crates. Battery packs and fire suits poked through the styrofoam packing. The floor was littered with thick wads of currency. Are you a friend? It was Carrera. There was something in an oversized armchair, a weapon of some kind nestled on his lap. Butler pushed cautiously. An important rule of thumb is that every point to be taken seriously. Take it easy. The Parisian raised a weapon. The grip was made for small fingers. A child or a fairy. I asked if you are a friend. Butler cocked his own pistol. No need to shoot. Stand still, ordered Carrera. I'm not going to shoot you. Just take your photo, maybe. The voice told me. His voice sounded in the earpiece. Get closer. I need to see the eyes. Butler holstered his weapon, taking a step forward. You see, no one has to get hurt here. I'm going to enhance the image, said Ollie. This may sting a bit. The tiny camera in his eye buzzed, and suddenly Butler's vision was magnified by 4, which would have been just fine had the magnification had not been accompanied by a sharp draught of pain. Butler blinked to stream of tears from his eye. Below in the goblin shuttle, Holly studied Luke's pupils. She memorized, she pronounced, several times. You see how the eyes has actually become jagged. You mesmerize a human too much, and they can go blind. Artemis studied the image. Is this hit to mesmerize him again? Holly shrugged. Doesn't matter. He's already under a spell. That particular moment is just following orders. His brain doesn't know a thing about it. Artemis grabbed the mic stand. Butler, get out there. Right now. The apartment Butler stood his ground. Any sign of movement might be his last. Butler, said Holly. Listen carefully. That gun pointed at you is a whiteboard low-frequency blaster. We call it a bouncer. It was developed for tonal skirmishes. If he pulls that trigger, a white arc laser is going to ricochet out the walls until it hits something. I see, muttered Butler. What did you say? Asked Carrera. Nothing. I just don't like having my photo taken. A sparkle looks greedy pressing on the surface. I like that watch on your wrist. It looks expensive. Is it a Rolex? You don't want this, said Butler. Fraser looked at the part with the comp screen. It's cheap. A piece of trash. Just give me the watch. Butler peeled back the strap on his wrist. If I give you this watch, maybe you can tell me about all those batteries. It is you. Say cheese, squeaked Carrera, forcing his pudgy thumb into the undersized trigger guard and pulling. But Butler did. Time seemed to slow to a crawl. It was almost as though he was here inside his personal time stop. His soldier sprang up toward Autofax and analyzed his options. Carrera's finger was too far gone. In a moment, a white-board laser burst would be spinning his way. It would continue to bounce around the room until you were both dead. His gun was of no use in a situation like this. All he had was a safety net, but a 6-foot spear was not going to be enough. Not for 2 good-sized humans. So in the fraction of a second left to him, Butler formulated a new strategy. If the sphere stopped concussive waves coming in, first they could stop them coming out. Butler touched the screen. and hurled the device in Corio's direction. Not another second too soon, a spherical shield blossomed, enveloping the expanding beam. 360 degrees of protection. It was a sight to see, a fireworks display in a bubble. The shield hovered overhead, shafts of light ricocheting against the sphere's curved planes. Corio was hypnotized by the sight. Apollo took advantage of the distraction to disarm him. "Start the engines," grunted Bargo into his throat mic. "The sorority are going to be all over this place in minutes." Follow sifted that didn't know, stopped the noise. "Roger that. What about Monsieur Cassia? A career?" Butler dumped a dazed Parisian flat on the carpet. "Luke and I are going to have a little chat." For the first time, Corey seemed to be aware of surroundings. "Who are you?" he mumbled. "What's happening?" Butler ripped over the man's shirt, placed his palm flat on the PI's heart. Time for a little trick he learned from Madame Cole, his Japanese sensei. "Don't worry, Monsieur Correa. I'm a doctor. There's been an accident, but you're perfectly fine." "An accident? I don't remember any accident." "Trauma. It's quite normal. I'm just going to check your vitals." Butler placed a thumb on Luke's neck, looking in the artery. "I'm going to ask you a few questions to check for concussion." Luke didn't argue. Then again, who'd argue with a 6-foot-plus Eurasian man with muscles like a Michelangelo statue? "Is your name Luke Carrere?" "Yes." Butler noted the pulse rate. One from the heartbeat, and the second reference on the carotid artery. Steady in spite of the accident. "Are you a private eye?" "I prefer the title investigator." No increase the pulse rate. The man was telling the truth. "Have you ever sold bags to a mysterious buyer?" "No, I have not," protested Luke. "What kind of doctor are you?" The man's pulse skyrocketed. He was lying. "Answer the questions, Monsieur Carrier," said Butler externally. "Just one more. Have you ever had dealings with goblins?" Relief flooded through Luke. The police did not ask questions about fairies. "What are you, crazy?" "Goblins? I don't know what you're talking about." Butler closed his eyes, concentrating on the pounding beneath his thumb and palm. Luke's pulse had settled. He was telling the truth. He had never had any direct dealings with the goblins. Obviously, the Quacktail weren't that stupid. Butler stood up, pocketing the bouncer. He could hear the sounds in the street below. "Hey, doctor," protested Luke. "You can't just leave me like this." Butler eyed him coldly. "I would take you with me, but the police will want to know why your apartment is full of what I suspect are counterfeit bills." Luke could only watch with his mouth open as the giant figure disappeared into the corridor. He knew he should run, but Luke's career had run more than 50 feet since gym class in the 1970s. And anyway, his legs had suddenly turned to jello. The thought of a long stretch in prison can do that to a person.